Hi, everyone. Welcome. Joining me today is Daren Abney, Senior Manager of Business Development for Lensing in North America.
Hi, Tricia. This is Daren, and I am introducing Tricia Carey, the Global Business Development Lead for Denim, and also leading the North America team based in New York.
And so we're here today at Kingpins, Australia, and our company Lensing is actually based in Austria. And for anyone who's ever visited Austria, you might have seen that there's no kangaroos in Austria. This sign really does exist in Austria, and it always cracks me up every time I see it. So we want to share that with our friends in Australia. And we want to give an update on what's new in TENCEL denim. Today, we want to give an overview of our collaborations, update in color, circularity, and carbon. Okay. Daren, let's start off with collaborations. We've been working on so many new ideas during this time. Let's talk a little bit about our latest sustainable denim wardrobe called Vast Recast. Why do we blend TENCEL with hemp?
Well, hemp is becoming super popular right now, right? There's a lot of growing interest around hemp globally. It's, first of all, a natural fiber. It's grown all around the world, and it's a great blending partner with TENCEL lyocell, not just for the sustainability story, but also because of the performance. When you think about sustainability, you think about water savings and the carbon impacts, but then the performance, it's a very strong fiber. So it's actually one of the oldest fibers that's been used in the industry. And when you marry that with TENCEL lyocell, it's one of the newer fibers in the industry. When they come together, it's like magic. It looks like cotton fabric from the 1920s. So hemp is getting a lot of attention from designers. They're getting really excited about the opportunities with hemp. And we thought that this collection, Vast Recast, could really showcase hemp and TENCEL in a way that's demonstrating what's happening in the industry right now. We launched the collection at Kingpins 24 in Amsterdam this April. And I think that when we're looking at the volume of interest we're getting from the industry, it's definitely not a trend that's going away anytime soon. It's something that is growing in the main staple denim industry. When we look at the collaborators of who we worked with on Vast Recast, I think that, well, you know, Tricia, you've been the face of TENCEL for a long time, so you guys are always doing a collection, right?
Yeah, we're always doing new collections, and we try to emulate how it actually is for a designer, how a brand is really putting everything together. We don't think of just here's our fiber, or here's one fabric or one mill. We like to put it all together, from fiber to yarn, fabric, laundry, labels, even the marketing, by coming up with the whole story behind it. Daren, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about those collaborators that are a part of Vast Recast.
Well, it was super exciting for me because this was the first launch that I have been a part of, being newer to the TENCEL denim team. So to see kind of the behind the scenes work that had gone in all of those months leading up to the launch of the collection earlier this year, first and foremost, TENCEL branded lyocell and modal fibers are featured alongside conventional and cottonized hemp from a comprehensive fabric collection that was designed by Navina Denim Limited in Lahore. And the entire collection was designed, pattern cut, and sewn by Indrum Studio based out of West Sussex there in the UK. So then you keep traveling around the world and you can see that each garment style is being exhibited as both raw and washed, with Ginologia being responsible for all of the finishing in Spain. Other critical partners to the launch were Crayfill Silofil. It's 100% TENCEL lyocell sewing thread in the garments. And then we also worked with Warp Face on the Joker labels and hang tags. And finally, Officina 39, a Resichrome dye stuff. So yeah, you know, all of these partners coming together really are what make it feasible, which is emulating exactly what's happening in the industry.
And you can learn more about Vast Recast every Wednesday. We have a Vast Recast deep dive on Carved in Blue, and you can understand more about the history behind all the garments, laundry processing, incredible photography, and even 3D video.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vast Recast isn't the only thing that we have going on, right? We're talking about a new innovation that we launched earlier this year. So I want you to tell us, Tricia, on February 23rd, we launched Future of Indigo on Kingpins, and it was really fun to watch it go live in this global launch. Can you tell us more about TENCEL model with Indigo color technology, and how do we make it?
Yeah, this was a super exciting launch for us, and we were happy to have Kingpins as a partner. And what we're doing with Future Indigo is we're really looking at the process and chemistry that it takes to apply indigo. So typically indigo is applied at the yarn stage, but what we're doing here is we're adding indigo pigment into the fiber production. So we're combining that those two steps together. And in doing that, we add the pigment in, and then the fiber, like we are showing here, actually already has the indigo inside. So it's really looking at indigo from the inside out rather than from the outside in. It's a totally new take on how we look at indigo dyeing.
Yeah, and I think that there's been a lot of excitement and enthusiasm from the industry we've heard around the innovation. A lot of testing that's going on right now with mills, but also a lot of questions they've come back to us with around wash effects and other areas. So what are some elaborations on that you can give us?
Well, we love all the questions. We love this open innovation that's happening now. You really have to look at a new product differently. It's not as simple as just replacing it. But what's important to understand are the benefits that you get out of adding the indigo pigment into the fiber production process. So you do get real wash effects. I would say that's always the first question that we get is, well, if you're adding the indigo, how do you take it out? You can achieve real wash effects with ozone, laser, and traditional laundry processing. And this all has to do with the construction of the fabric, but it can be achieved. And then you also have a rub fastness. With adding the indigo into the fiber, you have less crocking. And I think this will allow us to get into new applications where crocking was an issue. Could be activewear, could be footwear, could even be home applications. So really, the sky's the limit with this fiber. You also have huge resource savings. We talk about this all the time of how our products can have a lower impact on the environment. Well, here you have 99% water savings, 80% chemical savings, 99% heat energy savings over traditional yarn dyed indigo. And on top of all of that, we have the Okotex Class 1 baby certification. So we have a very safe product. We had some incredible partners to help us in the development. We had House of Gold, which is Adriano Goldschmidt. We had Cone Denim and also Candiani. As you mentioned, Daren, though, it's spreading throughout the market, and many of our partners around the world are already working on new developments.
Yeah.
Another area that we look at, Daren, is how are we addressing all the consumption, all the textile waste? There's more than 50 million tons of textile and apparel waste that's discarded every year. In the United States, we're looking at 16.9 million tons alone. How are we addressing circularity?
Well, I looked up before this to see, you and I are both based here in the US, but this is obviously Kingpins Australia. So we wanted to know, I wanted to see a little bit more about the consumption in that area of the world. And what I found online was that 800,000 tons of clothing and textiles are discarded by Australians each year. Obviously,
Wow.
It's a smaller market, but that's still a huge number. But Lensing as a company, one of our answers to help address this problem is the Refibra technology that was launched in 2017. So what we've got here is 30% mix of post-industrial and post-consumer waste mixed with the wood pulp. What you see on the screen, I think, really visually explains, for those of you, again, who might not know, TENCEL lyocell and TENCEL modal is used with sustainably sourced wood. So what we do is chop it down into chips, and then you use that to create a pulp. From the pulp, you'll create a new fiber through a fresh extruding process. So what you're ultimately doing with that pulp that Tricia's holding up there is you create a brand new fiber. Well, what we're doing is blending cotton textile scraps. I think that when we launched in 2017, it was roughly 10%. Now we're up to 30%. And the lyocell process, again, it's a 99.5% closed loop in that solvent process. So you have enormous environmental impact there in terms of reusing the chemicals, reusing the water. And also, I think a question that comes up a lot is the quality of a product, right? You want to make sure you're not sacrificing the strength. Well, the hand feel, the dye ability, the strength, it's all like brand new virgin lyocell, TENCEL lyocell, when you're blending it with this Refibra technology. So another important topic from the retailer brand standpoint is fiber identification. And that's built into this process so that the end consumer can actually look to see where that product came from.
So Daren, where are we going with Refibra? You talked about how we keep evolving and putting more waste in. What do you see happening with Refibra?
Yeah, well, we're 2021 now, post-pandemic. It feels like a new world, and I think that what's really exciting to me about where Lenzing's going is that they're still committed to their goals around sustainability across all areas, including Refibra. So the 2025 goals that we published earlier this year in our annual sustainability report is that we want to expand the offering of Refibra beyond just TENCEL lyocell to include viscose and modal. And we want to scale up the current 30% of post-industrial and post-consumer to reach 50% of post-consumer recycled content at commercial scale. And anyone who knows anything about recycling textiles, that's ambitious.
It is very ambitious and really leading in the industry. And think of the impact that we'll be able to make to reduce that amount of waste that's going to landfill. But we need partners in order to do that.
So we've talked a little bit about collaboration. We've talked about color. We've talked about circularity. Now we want to talk about carbon. What else is going on with carbon? I mean, we that's also an important topic, Tricia.
It's a very important topic and a huge one, and a very complicated topic too. I think there are a lot of brands though that are trying to work on this and simplify it. And for Lenzing, we're also trying to support. So in fall of 2020, we launched True Carbon Zero. This is the first fiber to have zero carbon footprint. And this is with our TENCEL lyocell as well as our TENCEL modal. And how we're doing this is through reduction of our suppliers, work with our suppliers that are providing us with raw materials that we can support any way that they can reduce their footprint. We also engage with the industry. And third is that we do have offsets that are required for different aspects that we just can't reduce right now. Overall, this is a huge task to undertake, but we feel starting with the right ingredients, starting with a raw material that has a low and no carbon footprint is really the answer. So more to come on True Carbon Zero and where we're going with that. And it's available now. You can work with any of your current suppliers in the supply chain and request to have True Carbon Zero. It is certified by Natural Capital Partners. So you have all the paperwork, you have the traceability and the transparency around having a fiber with zero carbon footprint. So we've got a lot that we've been working on. We wanted to give everyone an update. Thanks, Kingpins, for giving us this platform to tell our stories. And we know it's very exciting times for our industry. Daren, how can people keep in touch?
Definitely keep in touch with us. Carved in Blue is the place to be. It's the platform where we share stories like All in the Family, to real-time updates, what's happening with our mills, and where we're seeing different collections, the industry in this time where we're virtual. And as we start to normalize life and we start to get together again in person, this is still the place to be. Carved in Blue. You can find that online and LinkedIn, your favorite social channel, or you can also send us an email, denim@lenzing.com.
Sounds good. Thanks everyone for joining us. Signing off with our TENCEL mini Jane. You got yours too, Daren. All right.
Right there.
Thanks everyone.